Gerard Michaels here, back in Washington, D.C., where a bunch of Republicans, Democrats, and even Canadians have come together, braving the weather to try to rescue our republic.
Would you rather take a shot from Anthony Fauci or Alec Baldwin?
I think I'll take my risks with Alec Baldwin.
What's the amount of Trump merch being bought versus Kamala merch?
I'm gonna sell this.
You're gonna sell it? Really? It won't sell?
But I'm not gonna sell it because I'm for Trump.
Which Republican, why does it deserve to be rescued?
I thought you were going to ask me, are we a republic or a democracy? Look, we got to save this thing. We all know it. We all know it. It seems to me that the worst existential thing you could be in as a citizen, outside of your own existential problems as a human being, is to be at the end of something that is great and not do anything about it while you still have a chance.
5 years ago, did you see yourself leading a liberty revolution?
Hell no. There's no way that it'd be the case. There's a saying in D.C., if they can't see you, they can't shoot you.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
This is, I think, my fifth major outbreak that I've been at the tip of the spear on. I've never experienced anything like what we've seen, the complete disregarding of medical ethics, of international norms that have been developed ever since the Second World War. The influence of pharma is now raw. It's rough. It's like 60 grit sandpaper on your nose. I mean, they just have, they're out of the closet. And the deployment of psychological warfare, as you mentioned, has been amazing. The weaponization of the fear of infectious disease to train and control populations is something I never even imagined I would see in my life. I've tried to help people to understand that by talking about the term psychological biowarfare. Psychological biowarfare has economic and political consequences that are hundreds to thousands of times larger than actual biowarfare. And that's what we've been subjected to, and we continue to be subjected to, with all the fear of avian influenza and monkeypox and everything else. They just keep reusing the same tropes.
2020 changed everything for me. I lived in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Fiery but mostly peaceful protests. 3 blocks from my house is where Kyle Rittenhouse shot people. BLM marched right by my house, threatening to burn down my house with my kids in my house, and I just said enough is enough. Enough is enough. And right during that was when I was like, they're lying about COVID, they're lying about all this stuff, they're shutting my church down, but you can go to the strip club. Absolutely not. We have to speak against tyranny.
What's the difference between Kyle Rittenhouse and COVID-19?
Is this a joke or you?
Kyle Rittenhouse's shots work.
Oh gosh.
What tipped you off that the government was probably lying during the pandemic?
Everything was a lie. The distance was a lie. The tests were a lie. The shots were a lie. The masks were a lie. I mean, I do deep research. I'm the CEO of Children's Health Defense, so we do deep dives on all of this, and we were onto COVID from very, very early on.
Why do you think they were able to get away with lying for so long?
Well, censorship and propaganda. Those are the two key, and fear. Fear, censorship, and propaganda work, and that's what they do. But the independent media played a huge role, including Children's Health Defense. Even though we were censored, we did get the truth out to a lot of people, and then people also saw what was going on with their own eyes. The shots don't work. They don't stop transmission, right? You still get sick once you've gotten the shot. So I think people wised up, and the word is getting out, and we've got to stop the censorship, and we've got to stop the propaganda within the United States being done by the U.S. government.
Why do you think Gen Z is so attracted to this authoritarian moment? They seem to be so attracted to this, this regime that wants to repress them.
They love Marxism. It's actually really sad on college campuses. The kids love Karl Marx for some reason, which is ludicrous. But I think it's the social issues. They've bought and they've eaten the cake when it comes to feminism, and I think that feminism is honestly one of the number one reasons why women lean more liberal than men.
What do you think of the conspiracy theory that feminism is just a globalist plot to make women work so they can tax half the population?
Maybe it's not a conspiracy theory.
An eclectic group of people from all over the globe have come here, and they have one thing in common. They're sick of the corruption.
John Kerry just came out vehemently against the First Amendment. It seems like there's an international cabal. You've talked about this a lot. Where do you think the tip of the spear actually is?
The tip of the spear is the U.S. State Department, which is exactly the department, as you mentioned, that has to do with international affairs.
was set up in 1789. It's the oldest agency that we have in the federal government. It's for managing the American empire. And when the Trump movement came around, it was a nationalist threat to our internationalist agenda. And so the State Department coordinates with the Justice Department. The State Department coordinates with the CIA. The State Department coordinates with the FBI. The State Department coordinates with DHS. The State Department coordinates with the tech platforms. All of these things are coordinated out of this State Department hive mind, which is basically the quarterback of this network. And this is why you've seen, as you mentioned, John Kerry. He was the U.S. Secretary of State, the head of the State Department, calling for an end to the First Amendment. 1 week before that, Hillary Clinton called for the end of the First Amendment. She was also the U.S. Secretary of State right before John Kerry. And if you think the Secretaries of State are bad, wait till you see the undersecretaries and the assistant secretaries and the deputy assistant secretaries. The entire scheme is built on information control in order to determine the outcome of elections on every country on planet Earth.
The real answer, in my opinion, is that this world has been more and more controlled by organized crime for decades on decades now. And we live in a time now where, like, if you really actually dig through the evidence that Jeffrey Epstein exposed, that Diddy is currently about to expose, that shows signs that the human trafficking, the drug trafficking, the criminal networks in our world are more powerful than anyone ever imagined. If you can be, like, the reason why
especially if they're nation states now.
Exactly, and they're aligned with intelligence agencies, and so the gray area there has so much power in the shadows, and that's why we didn't get any of the stuff about Jeffrey Epstein. No one went down, because that's the most powerful group in our world today. And so as they're starting to get exposed, the only answer, because that's based in lies and evil and deception and horrible things.
Yeah.
And so the only defense against that in a free media space is to just shut down conversation.
But should we get rid of the First Amendment if it means, like, Chelsea Handler never sings again? I mean, I feel like that's a fair trade.
No.
Oh. So where do you think this entire conspiracy to silence and subdue free speech is coming from?
Wait, let me put my stuff down. Record this.
Exactly how deep does the deep state go? And is it more wide or is it long?
This is gonna go good, man.
Yeah, that's called. One minute.
No, I mean, it's deep, it's wide, it's long, it's like South Park, bigger, better, uncut. Longer, uncut.
So the deep state is uncut. Is that confirmed?
We have an uncircumcised deep state.
And that's what we're doing here at Rescue the Republic.
We're bringing a bris. This is basically...
We're going to nip it. We're nipping the deep state.
We have to.
You want the name, date, place, and transgression of these scum?
Let's go.
Number one, Jim Baker. He was the former general counsel, the senior lawyer that authorized the illegal spying on General Flynn, Carter Page, defrauding the FISA court, spying on the Trump campaign. And then after that, he facilitated the cover-up team known as the Mueller team. And then the impeachment hoax 1, impeachment hoax 2. He was sent over to be the deputy general counsel at Twitter 1.0 to run the censorship industrial complex. And guess who he contracted out at Twitter 1.0 to be the official fact-checking company? It was Reuters. And guess who at Reuters was the CEO? James Smith, of course. And guess where James Smith also does business? He was the board member of Pfizer. Actually still is. So check this out. James Smith, board member of Pfizer, is telling his employees that are fact checkers over at Twitter to say, hey, if anybody says anything bad about our product, then you got to nuke them off of that platform. And you know who you want to coordinate with that? Jim Baker. And then Jim Baker coordinates it with the FBI field office in San Francisco with Joe Pientka III and Elvis Chan, as we found out in the Missouri v. Biden lawsuit. And those guys are coordinating with Brian Otten and Laura Denlow at the FBI's headquarters Foreign Influence Task Force. And why are those names important? Because Brian Otten was the supervisory intel analyst on the illegal Crossfire Hurricane spying on Trump and Flynn.
But top down, where's this coming from? It's coming from somewhere. Top down, who is sending the orders? These are all bureaucrats, right?
Domestically, we're looking at Barry Hussein, Biden criminal syndicate, right? The Clinton machine. But on the broader perspective globally, we're looking at your boy Klaus Schwab, right? Your boy Xi out in the Chinese CCP. Billy Boy Gates funds it, doesn't he?
Does Pepe Silva have anything to do with this?
No, I mean, I don't know anything about that.
Barney, he's the guy who tipped me off to Pepe Silva. Barney!
Barney? Who the hell is Barney?
We find ourselves at a weird time in America's political history. There's a Kennedy that's supporting a Republican while the Bushes and the Cheneys are supporting a Democrat. Meanwhile, you still won't call your dad because you think he's a Nazi.
I think people are tired of being lied to and treated like we're idiots, and for some reason the establishment forgets that the internet exists and that it's forever, and then they keep lying, but then you can do a quick Google search and see that everything that they're saying is not actually true, or they're making these promises that aren't actionable. So I think people are just saying enough is enough and that our voice matters. And I think there's a really powerful thing that comes with demonstrating what your perspective is, because then people feel less alone.
And we have a little bit of a window here. You know, this crowd out there, if you polled all those thousands of people, if you just polled every single person on their top 10 issues and how they put them in order, it would be wildly different for almost everybody. And yet they're here because they love the country. They want to restore and renew the republic. They want to get back to, I don't know, defending free speech, defending our God-given rights.
That does mean women get free speech too, though. And they are.
Well, I would leave that to the states.
Yeah.
I've been reading. I've learned to read.
When did they start letting women read? This used to be a proper country.
Wait till you find out I'm voting again. Woo!
Why do you think women are so bad at voting?
I wouldn't say that, my friend. I think that everybody needs to vote. I mean, we can make a difference, and if we vote our conscience and we all go out and vote in person, we can turn around the situation that we have right now.
If women didn't vote, we'd probably fix this day in like 6 months, though, right?
I don't know if that's true anymore, because I think for some reason women have become the leader of the household and the family units, and we are lacking a lot of responsibility and masculine leadership. So even if you were to say, let's give Pearly thinks what she wants and take the right away for women to vote, I think that most men right now are so cupped by their wives that they're still going to vote how she wants to vote. So until men step into their masculinity and all of it, all of the shadow, all of the teeth, all of it, they're not going to see a change.
So we need more masculine men.
Yeah.
Less drinking the water, no turning the frogs gay.
Stop doing the fluoride toothpaste, protect your pineal gland, go out into nature, go hunt, find your roots, get a hold of your woman.
Let's do it!
Step into that leadership.
Let's do it! Yes! I love it! Make America hunt again!
Yes!
There's Republicans here, there's Democrats here, there's a lot of Canadians here. What's going on north of the border to protect sovereignty and freedom of speech?
Absolutely nothing. Right now we have a new bill coming in called Bill 63. It is the Child Online Harms Act, and really what it is an online censorship bill that is a hate speech bill, meaning it can be retroactive or proactive. They can go at you for anything that you've said in the past and in the future, and it's life in prison.
But at least you get free health care, right?
No, we don't have health care, we have death care.
You don't have health care, you have death care?
Yeah, you can thank DAG with dignity for that.
Wow. That's a hell of a line.
One of the big censorship predicates is polarization and division, which is to say that anyone who disagrees with them is polarizing the republic, is dividing people, and so it's a threat to democracy because it undermines social cohesion. But what they're doing is they're just artificially preserving their own secular consensus in order to stop them from losing power.
First time I've ever heard violated community standards. It's now become a common part of the language. Yeah. We all will know what that means. It means whatever they want it to mean.
Yeah, it means you stepped out against the state.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it means you pissed off the regime.
Exactly.
Literally, this is an intergovernmental collusion through the United Nations at this point. Governments around the world are engaged in this censorship industrial complex, and we need to stop it now before it gets worse.
Is there anything the globalists get right?
Well, the research. Well, I actually do believe that we need global information, we need global cooperation, but what we don't need is global tyranny, and that is what's on the agenda today.
There's 100,000 people behind me who believe that our elites have lost their way, and of course they have. If they would rather suppress your ability to be angry with them instead of stop doing things to be angry about, they probably shouldn't be the type of people that are in charge.
Do you find yourself inspiring other artists to speak their truth and speak up against the machine?
Yeah, I wish. I do. I think we're kind of like a lighthouse for other artists that are stand-up curious, but still a little timid.
Yeah.
So I get messages from a lot of people that are like, "Hey, man, I appreciate what you said. I wish I could say something." And my response is always like, "You can."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, I don't want it to cost me anything," but it's like, well, where's your line? Like, you can stand up now or wait for things to get more and more eroded.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you're gonna have to make a stand for yourself and your family.
There'll be nobody left to stand for you.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of artists and bands out there that draw the blinds, turn off the light, and then quietly say, "Oh, Dicky and Pete were right."
And now we're seeing this movement, and more rock bands are starting to, their eyes are opening.
Yeah, it's punk rock. I can't believe
it's totally punk rock.
Punk became like obey authority. It's insane, right?
It was so weird. I got in a lot of trouble because I had said that a few years ago. I was like, wait a minute. I am the revolutionary here.
Yeah.
People know me as I'm a Christian. I'm an outspoken Christian. I'm an outspoken patriot. I'm the revolutionary because I say the government doesn't have the right to shut my church down and to make me take a jab every 6 months.
How do we get trust back in our institutions? I think trust in medicine is as low as it's ever been in my life.
It's 40% of people now, only 40% believe in hospitals and doctors. That's appalling. It was 70%, over 70% at the beginning of the pandemic. We have got to change leadership. People have to come clean. I believe we're going to have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission where people come forward and they say what happened.
We're surrounded by a bunch of dangerous radicals who like things like freedom and don't think that there should be subsidized government. This place is chock full of lunatics who believe in things like free speech and not poisoning our children with pesticides. Let's see how crazy this can get.
I think freedom, after being here, freedom means different things to different people.
Yeah, I think some people it's freedom for the things that I want, and then some people it's more radical. So there's a spectrum.
Yeah. Certainly a spectrum at this event, for sure.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
I'm a time traveler, and I'm here to create a new renaissance.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I'm doing an interview with a vampire. Steve Bannon, is he enjoying prison, you think, or not really? Or is he getting super jacked? What's going on? I don't want to wear the puffy shirt. In your clinical opinion, is 1,000 bottles of baby oil too much, or...
I mean, it depends on who you're asking, but I'm going to go with a hard yes on that.
That's a lot of baby oil.
It feels like it's too much.
It's too many bottles of baby oil. It's probably not enough dildos based upon what I've read from the reports.
I'm admittedly not very good at lovemaking, but I think 1,000 bottles of baby oil is too many. What are your thoughts on that?
There's something real sus going on there with Diddy.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I don't think anyone needs more than 2.
That's a lot of baby oil.
Like a lot.
Yeah, like what about the babies?
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions.
Actually, I don't think anybody in Hollywood cares about the baby. Maybe we should keep Hollywood as far away from babies as possible.
I think you're correct. I mean, they are all satanic pedophiles.
Allegedly.
Nah.
I don't like artificially man-made oils in general. I don't eat seed oils. I wouldn't really be anywhere near mineral oil. So I think Diddy should not be using seed oils or mineral oil. He should stick with coconut oil or tallow.
Oh my God, that's so right. Make Diddy healthy again. Make Diddy healthy again. Is it possible that he's part of the Illuminati and he knows something that we don't? And the secret to not getting abducted and cloned is bathing in baby oil and walking around with a dildo?
I think that it's highly likely, but it's whatever dildo he was using, it must have expired because he clearly got exposed, whether that be to the Illuminati and their alien vision. Like, I don't know if they actually finally saw through the cloaking device. I don't know, but something went wrong with his dildo and lube situation.
What if that's what keeps you from being abducted by the deep state and cloned into being, just an android to be used by the globalists?
I think that's a delusional statement.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
But you don't know that, though.
Why not?
It's not a 0% chance that they're allergic to baby oil.
Do you know everybody that I know?
I don't.
There you go.
You think it's a 0% chance? Is it an Illuminati thing where baby oil can't be abducted?
That's a total distraction.
It's not 0.
It's not zero.
It's not 0.
It's not 0.
Well, do you believe in the conspiracy theory that the CIA is behind making gangster rap popular in the black community?
Yes, I am totally 100% convinced that is the truth.
I'm not sure that was baby oil. I heard some other
Oh yeah, you got the tea? What do you got?
So have you heard the theories that the baby oil was not baby oil?
No.
It's
don't tell me baby.
No. Oh, well, No, drugs. There's a lot of rumors about the rap industry trafficking liquid cocaine in bottles of liquor, and there's a lot of talk about GHB being possibly trafficked in liquid form as well.
Yeah, there's another version that was a delivery agent that they had mixed in another active agent into for topical application. So this is kind of like a roofie that's applied to the skin.
So then does that mean that What does that mean? Where are they using the dildos for?
I'll leave that to your imagination.
But maybe he was ashy elbows. No one ever looked at his elbows. No one's asked about that.
It just shows how brilliant he is at media that he knew that this was the way to get the Diddy exclusive, to go in there first and get in there beforehand.
I don't know about that, but Steve was definitely ahead of the curve on all things media, and it's really so tragic that he's sitting there. Today's actually 1 month until he's going to be released, so 3 months into the sentence, but keep in mind that the Southern District of New York...
He's a political prisoner.
Yeah, well, he could potentially go away for a few years on a separate case that the trial is set to start in December. That fun fact, the original judge on it was Juan Marchand of the Trump New York case. They recently reassigned it, but it's just a perfect
Absolute
example.
rogue justice system. Are lizards and aliens real, and are they running the show?
Well, I'm pretty confident about lizards. Now, lizard people, I've seen some pretty good memes, and they look pretty compelling. Aliens, you'll probably have to ask the lizard people.
Gotcha. Have you ever knocked on wood or? All right, guys. Good to meet you. Thank you so much, man. Cool. Thank you, pal. Appreciate your time.
100,000 people who otherwise have nothing in common have showed up to quote unquote rescue the republic from the people that occupy that building right there. And their main beef is that instead of admitting what they did wrong and trying to change for the better, they are committed to try to suppress the free speech of the people angry that they were wronged. The elitist managerial class has lost its way, and these people have the instinct to fight back against it. For Normal World, this is Gerard Michaels, live in DC. There it is, guys. That's where Joe Biden does all of his work. Hard at work right now, he is, our president, I'm sure. Doing like really cool things, like putting together Legos or something, or trying to remember words in Scrabble, or watching reruns of Golden Girls, and eating hard candies without any wrappers on them that he finds in his pockets. Joe Biden running this whole thing.